Welcome back to The Full View. It's time for Explain and Verify here on SABC News Channel 404. And now on Thursdays, we dedicate our time to going beyond the headlines to try and put context behind the main stories of the week. And Samkele Maseko is our man on the beat. Here with us again tonight, Samkele. And what are you focusing on tonight?
Well, indeed, Tembegile, tonight we unpack what happens to be the most explosive allegations to rock South Africa's security and political establishment in recent history, and what has to become to be known as the Mkhwanazi Dossier. In the beginning of July, KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi implicated higher-ranking officials, including Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, in obstructing justice and shielding suspects linked to political killings within the country. That brings us to our very first slide. To understand the full impact of these claims, we must trace them back to their origins, the seed which was sown in May 2018 with the assassination of ANC activist Mkhwanazi Mkhunu in Pietermaritzburg. These are some of the accusations Mkhwanazi made. Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi in KwaZulu-Natal, Minister of Police Senzo Mchunu, obstruction of justice, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, stalling investigations. You know that particular allegations that dockets were piling up and gathering dust in his office. Brown Mkhotsi, who campaigned for the CR17 campaign in the Northwest Province, organized crime links. You'd remember those particular connections of those communications between him and Vusumuzi Cat Matlala. Vusumuzi Cat Matlala shielded despite murder charges. Vusumuzi Cat Matlala shielded despite murder charges. Katiso Molefe gained access to over 120 dockets. Katiso Molefe, Julius Malema mentioned this particular name, how General Libya, he assumes Julius Malema spoke to Molefe on the phone, gained access to over 120 dockets. Wopao Pule alleged attempts to dismantle task force. So that essentially just tells you these are some of the allegations that General Mkhwanazi has made. Remember that in December, January, earlier this year, Minister of Police Senzo Mchunu sent out that letter dismantling and giving an instruction to Fanima Samula to dismantle the political killings task team in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. And
we're going to look at the key events in a moment, Samkele, but it's interesting when you look at that cast of characters, if you can call it that. Two of them, as we speak tonight, are spending the night in a cell.
Well, indeed, it does look as if that particular courage by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi did edge some oomph into the African police service. It did get some people to get up from their laurels and particularly do their job, arrest some particular individuals. You look at Molefe, who was arrested and who is ultimately behind bars now, and it does tell you that two of those individuals, Cat Matlala, Molefe, they are behind bars. One particular politician, Kenny Kunene, was found in the house of one of these particular individuals here in Johannesburg in Sandhurst. So it does just tell you that it does give credence to these allegations by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi that there is a syndicate operating in Gauteng that has politicians, has a number of other individuals involved with the underworld within the country. Some of the key events from 2018 to 2025 that have taken place. In 2018, the political killings task team was formed. This was after the assassination of Mkhwanazi Mkhunu, who hailed from Edendale in KwaZulu-Natal in the Moses Mabhida region. Then you go to 2018-2024, 112 cases provided, 436 arrests, 156 firearms seized. If you look at these firearms seized, there is that particular firearm that is linked to about 10 murders in the province of Gauteng alone and other parts of the country.
Including DJ Somebody killed in 2022, right?
Killed in 2022, that particular gun. You remember Gayton Mackenzie saying that those people who did that particular murder are novices. They are playing games within that particular aspect. December 2024, Minister Mchunu orders disbandment of the task force of looking into political killings, looking at the over-expenditure that has been spent and little results coming out from that political killings task team. And remember the killing of Sindiso Makaka, the former ANC Youth League Secretary General and former councillor in the Herikwala District Municipality, going deeper into the Umzimkulu local municipality, was gunned down within his particular area. Months or allegations that the funds from crime intelligence and guns from crime intelligence, vehicles from crime intelligence were used to perpetuate that particular murder of Jethro Makaka. March 2025, 121 dockets removed by Lieutenant General Sibiya. March 2025, 121 dockets removed by General Sibiya. May 2025, Matlala arrested, accused of 3 murders. June 2025, task team coordinator arrested, Matlala granted bail. June 2025, SABC's crime intelligence boss, General Dumsani Kumalo, arrested. This is where it gets interesting, and this is where the battles particularly reached a boiling point within the South African Police Service. There are allegations that there are factions within the police service. Fanima Samula, the National Commissioner, General Kumalo, General Mkhwanazi, one faction. The other faction has General Sibiya in it, and other lieutenants as well, which shows you that there is a battle for the control of the top echelons of the South African Police Service. July 2025, Mkhwanazi alleges links to cartels, judiciary, and parliament, which includes politicians and also law enforcement agencies within Gauteng. You look at the allegations that have surfaced in provinces, in regions such as Ekurhuleni.
And when you look at the people, I mean, implicated, there have also been contradictions. For example, in the versions provided by the likes of Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, did he not know Brown Mkhwanazi? And if he did, what was the extent of that relationship?
Senzo Mchunu says he did not know Brown Mkhwanazi. He came back later to say, no, Brown Mkhwanazi is his comrade. He knows him. Just as a comrade, they don't have an intimate relationship. Brown Mkhwanazi was involved in the CR17 campaign where Senzo Mchunu was the supposed Secretary General who lost out against Elias Sekhobela Magashule. At that time, Mkhwanazi was campaigning all over the country. But the fallout of this particular matter of General Mkhwanazi, on the 9th of July, Police Minister Mkhwanazi admits knowing Brown Mkhwanazi, having said in Parliament he does not know him. So evidently he is a suspicion and a glaring lie on his particular aspect of his knowledge and knowing of Brown Mkhwanazi. 13th of July, Mkhwanazi suspended. Professor Feroz Kachalia named as the replacement, as the acting police minister within the country. He's yet to start, will start on the 1st of August. 13th of July, Chief Justice Mbuyiselo Madlanga to chair commission of inquiry into these particular allegations by General Mkhwanazi. 15th of July, Deputy National Commissioner General Sibiya placed on special leave. 15th of July, Gwede Samson Mantashe named as acting Minister of Police. You've seen the meme saying that Gwede Mantashe, the man of action, just a day or two with him acting, there have been a number of several arrests and action being taken
always
by
a moment
the
for humor in South Africa, right?
Always a moment for humor. On the 23rd of July, 2025, the National Assembly establishes an ad hoc committee to look into these particular allegations of the criminal underworld, working with politicians, business, and senior executives within municipalities. But this just gives you a broader context of how there is that link in South African politics that links these so-called criminals with politicians and the flow of just the ease of relationship between these particular individuals, those who are being investigated by law enforcement agencies within
And I'm
the
looking
country.
at the figures, Samgila, that you're bringing up now in terms of political killings between 2010 and the year 2025. You and I had a very similar look at this data. At the time, we were looking at the conviction in the Cindy Somakaka murder case. But ultimately, the political killings task team is also at the center of this fallout in the police service. Those who wanted it disbanded, and those like General Mkhwanazi who wanted it to remain. But there's even an issue now about its jurisdiction, whether it was now overstepping the mandate set at its establishment.
This political killings task team reminds me of the Cato Mena hit squad of Johan Boysens. You remember that friction that was there at the time?
10 years ago. That
10
was
years
big in
ago,
the news.
that was in the news. I remember Peggy Cele at the time was the police commissioner within the country. He was ultimately also removed after a period of time. And there was that friction between law enforcement agencies, that particular law enforcement agency of the Cato Mena hit squad, going around beating up people, killing people, doing all sorts of manner of wrong things. The same allegations are being purported on the political killings task team, saying that they are covering up a number of cases. They are also perpetuating some of these particular murders. These are some of the allegations that are yet to be tested in any court of law. But if you go back to just before the 2024 elections, 7 politically linked killings were recorded, showing sustained risk to public office bearers within the country. So if you look at the political killings by party from 2010 going to 2025, the ANC, between that particular period of 2010 going to 2025, 103 ANC leaders have been killed. That is about 61%. To be precise, it's 60.95%. The National Freedom Party, do they still exist? Okay. 21 members of the NFP have ultimately, oh yeah, they do have a...
They do. They have got a presence in KZN still.
They have a presence.
Yes, they do.
They've got one MEC.
It's a presence in these PGU times, is it called? Provincial Government of Unity. Weren't they part of it?
It's presence. Oh, okay. Yeah, the NFP has 21 leaders who've been killed between 2010 going to 2025. That is 12.43%. The IFP, Inkatha Freedom Party, they've had 19 leaders killed. That is a percentage of 11.24%. Then you go to the Economic Freedom Fighters, 10 members between 2010 going to 2025, 5.92%. And other parties, it's 16. That just tells you that political killings are very much still prevalent within the country. And also, if you look at police commissioners who've not ended their terms, who've who've left in a cloud. Begicele left in a cloud as National Police Commissioner within the country. Khomotso Phahlane left under a cloud. You go to General Stolle left under a cloud. And the one and only as well, if you remember correctly, I want to get his name.
Jackie Sleeby.
Not Jackie Sleeby. There is one I'm forgetting. And Jackie Sleeby. He left under a cloud when he was police commissioner within the country. He was arrested at that particular
and
time.
Convicted eventually.
Then you go to Riapieha as well. You remember Marikana was her darkest cloud. Khomotso Phahlane, his allegations of benefiting from service providers within the department. The same as Begicele when it came to that particular leasing and buying of building involving a particular businessman. Kehlas Tole, Lesicha Mutiba, who was acting at that particular time. And now Fani Masamula, Julius Malema alleges that there is a warrant of arrest out for Fani Masamula, and saying that the press briefing by General Mkhwanazi was a preemptive strike for knowing that there was an investigation against Fani Masamula, who was going to be arrested within that particular week. But there are a number of questions that remain unanswered, and that will be then that Commission of Inquiry will give full context for the explanation of this particular syndicate to be fully uncovered by this particular Commission of Inquiry and the ad hoc committee within Parliament. There's critical dockets. Why were they removed? If they were removed, who gave the order to dismantle the task team of political killings in KwaZulu-Natal? What will become of the cases already being investigated? And one wonders, Julius Malema today spoke about the Cindy Somakaka case. Those particular recordings that have been leaked, the NPA has been quiet on that particular issue, on when they are visiting those particular individuals who were the sponsors of the political killing of Cindy Somakaka, who were the masterminds, who were government officials, and those who were the conduits of the money, who are alleged to be currently working within the communications department in the eThekwini local municipality.
Let me ask you then, Samgele, at the end of this, so we've got at least 2 official investigations which will get underway. Yes, the judicial inquiry, as announced by President Ramaphosa about 2 weeks ago now. Yesterday, around this time, Parliament, the National Assembly basically agreed that an ad hoc committee should also then sit to interrogate some of what came out of that explosive briefing by General Mkhwanazi. How fragile is faith in South Africa's police and the broader law enforcement community, and the risk even to the judiciary when you consider that, on Mkhwanazi's version, the people who are, quote-unquote, captured by cartels are spread across those different wings? The truth
of the matter is, South Africans are now very skeptical of the democratic project of South Africa. South Africans are very skeptical of the democratic project of South Africa, which links all 3 arms of the state: the judiciary, the legislature, the executive. Civil society as well is under a dark cloud, because civil society in most instances will march against political leaders whom the capitalist class is not agreeing with. You look at the SABC marches that took place under former President Zuma. You don't see the same taking place today. So the democratic project is pretty much in doubt by many South Africans. Hence you see the lack of voter apathy by voters. South Africans at large have lost confidence in the political construct of the country.
Samgele Maseko with this week's edition of Explain and Verify, leaving it on a rather sobering note in terms of the credibility and confidence in the country, systems that are meant, by the way, to serve the people.